February this year, President William Ruto formed a task force, what is known as the Presidential Task Force on the establishment of a national lottery. And he appointed the chair, Mr. Narendra Guru, to be the chairperson of the task force. This committee was supposed to go around the country and, of course, tour other countries to see how best Kenya can adopt and implement a national lottery. 3 months later, the committee managed to do its work. It handed over the report to the president. And now the chair is joining us this week on Inside Government to help us get to understand more about the planned national lottery and the best practices that we need to approach. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Chairman, for joining us here. First of all, take us through how would you describe Kenya's lottery and gaming industry?
See, lottery and gaming industry in Kenya is very young. It has never given the chance to grow because it was not focused for. Number two, our Kenyan citizens were never given the education, correct education and the information towards the lottery that what it will do good, what it will do bad. It can do bad if it is not correctly stipulated by the law. It can do wonders for the country, especially for the vulnerables, and for the people of Kenya. It will do wonders if it is handled well by the professional company and also followed the law which we have already made. So lottery is like medicine. Like if you take 10 Panadols, it will harm you, but if you take 2 Panadols or any painkillers, it will help you. So similar way, this lottery is quite a very good instrument for, especially for the country like us, to come out of the many disasters situation.
And you were saying that if the process is handled correctly, what would you define to be the correct way of handling a national lottery?
See, define is, first of all, the lottery is not supposed to be sold, or the gambling is not supposed to be allowed to underage. Now, underage children, if they go into the betting and lotteries and all this, it's not something healthy. So the law should define that and should be strictly monitored that. Second thing is that the lottery should be sold to the, we do sell, we have put the stipulated the law that they have to give all the identifications, everything, and we don't have to declare that. We cannot declare identification of the winners, for example, because we have seen 1 or 2 incidents that somebody won and then he was murdered or she was murdered. So we cannot, it will be a top secrecy. It will be a lot of rules like who is eligible to play or to buy the lottery and how much he is allowed to. What amount he can pledge, because some people are very regular, then we have to monitor. So only this is possible to make it healthy. Lottery is to give to the operator who is professional, not anybody. Because of I know somebody and I recommend him to run the lottery, then it can be again a failure. But otherwise it will be a wonders of the world, especially for Kenya. It will do wonders.
You visited multiple countries, including Singapore, Canada, the US, the UK, trying to do what we call benchmarking.
Yes.
What did you learn from those countries?
See, most of the places, it's called a national lottery. Like UK has got a national lottery. Italy has got a national lottery. Singapore has got a national lottery. They run it, the government run it themselves. Singapore is run by the government, not by private entity. In Italy, it is run by the private entity, but for the national government. Same way in London, it's run by partially by the government and partially expertise. It's very successful. For Italy, I give you an example. In Italy, they do approximately, the lottery generates every year 500 400 and something billion euros.
Billion euros.
Euros, which is used for not only sports, but for many infrastructure projects and for many things. In total, I'm talking about. Now, this kind of money cannot be generated by the government by doing anything else. It is only possible by this kind of the introduction of the lottery. Kenya also can generate the similar amount, or maybe little less money, because we are in Kenya shilling and we are a poor country. So we expect the same, but maybe in a shilling.
And when you talk about the Italian model being managed by a private company, and we also have situations where, like for example, the UK, whereby the National Lottery is managed by the government. Which model do you think can work for us? Should we opt for the private management, or should the government manage the National Lottery?
First of all, government should not be in any business. Wherever the government is doing the business, we fail for one or another reason. So it should be given to the private operator, but that also should be vetted so well openly that the operator is correctly selected. If we select the wrong operator, again we can be it will be a failure. So definitely I'm positive that this government is going to look for we have given our reports, and they are going to benchmark, after the benchmarking, they are going to look for a professional operator who is going to give the correct result, because the outcome of this lottery can be achieved only when there is aggressive and the correct operator. Of course, there will be government part and parcel in it to control them, that they are not going out of the way, but operation and everything will be handled by the private operator only.
And so when you went around the country and you engaged with the citizenry, what kind of feedback did you got from the exercise?
I got the feedback especially from London and Italy and Singapore, that the lottery is easily purchased by people over the time. Before it was hesitance, but now they are easily. For example, they go to petrol stations to fill the fuel in the car. Then there is a £2 is remaining. They says, "Give me the lottery." So it has become the part of life now. It's very easily sold. It has got hundreds of type of lottery selling, but you can buy it in a £1, you can buy it in a £5, you can buy it in a £100. Similar way in euro, you can buy any category of the lottery. It depends on what winning you are looking for. A jackpot, then it is a higher price. If you are looking for a smaller amount, then it is a smaller price. So there is a lot in detail. We ourselves, we bought a couple of lotteries, although we never won anything. In fact, we spent 20 euros and we won about 5 euros. But it's same time. Some lotteries result is same time. You get the result same time. Some comes every week, some comes every month. So there is hundreds of types of the lotteries can be introduced here. But this whole job is for the operator. They are supposed to look for the best practice, which one will be the better for the country.
And when you are going around the country for the public consultation, is the Kenyan citizenry ready for a national lottery?
Yes and no, because we do have, we were having here, we know lottery since many years. There was charity sweepstake, if you remember.
Yeah.
It's here last 50 years. It was here, it's closed. But charity sweepstake was here, so lottery was there, but education wasn't there. Towards what is the lottery, how it will work, what it will work. Now, this time we did educate the Kenyan population. We went to almost 23 to 24 counties in Kenya to educate the population, educate the people, and do the public participations and tell them and explain them why these lotteries and what it will do to you. This lottery is the first time we are introducing in Kenya, where the government is going to benefit and that money is only going to go back to the society, not for the government for campaigning or paying the debt or no. It is been ring-fenced such a way. His Excellency was so strict that we want to make sure that this money is used for the back to the society given to, and it is used for the good cause like drought or education or making sure that the people have a good in a classrooms which we see in the, so there we will use it, and also we'll put some money for the disaster fund that when there is emergency can be used from that money. So this is what we ring fence it like that, so that it is a part and parcel of your money. Let's say if you bought it a lottery of 200 shilling, out of that you should be aware, or we made people aware that out of these 50% or 70% is going to come back to us, not directly to you, but to the community.
And you see, when you look at the Kenyan society, I mean, over the years, the government has, has suffered what I call the crisis of confidence, and this has been because of multiple issues. And when you have institutions like the National Housing, the National Hospital Insurance Fund, the National Social Security Fund, all of them having management crisis, then this puts a damper, on the level of confidence that the citizenry have on government. And so how do we ensure that even as we move ahead to form the National Lottery, that this institution is going to be well managed, the funds are going to be ring-fenced, and the actual winners will definitely be the people to be rewarded?
Yes, I really agree with your questions. But what, for example, the other fund like NSSF or NHIF or whatever, wherever is the mismanage of the fund, and I am not very much into that. But what I'm saying is that yes, it will be mismanaged if it is not ring fence. Yes, it will be mismanaged if it is not with the correct ministry. Yes, it will be mismanaged if the operator is not correctly vetted. Now here, it's not only government. The money is going to come 100% from the operator. The rest of the places is only government is in charge, so they know where to spend the money. Here, you are in charge. I am in charge. Everybody is in charge, because they will produce their result on the newspaper, if possible, every day, every week, or every month, how much they have sold and how much they have expensed. So that much money will go to the government, and it is ring fence, and there will be a different, like a trust, people, that they will be responsible where to use that only. They are not responsible for any. It's not cannot be given the check to anybody or transfer to any county or to making any payment for the bad debt or for infrastructure. No, it is properly ring fenced, and I'm positive that this will be the best success for the country, because of we will follow that ring fence what we have done, and it will be strictly followed. And I'm positive about this, that it will set an example that how to run a fund.
And the Kenyan society, and it's not just here in Kenya, but in many countries around the world, and that probably maybe is explained by the fact that you have less than 30 countries with a national lottery in the world. And there's a lot of negative perception around gambling, lotteries, and so much. And so then the question comes, then how are we going to deal with these negative perception about lotteries and gambling?
See, negative perception comes, it's not, if you go to London, there is nothing. If you go to Italy, Singapore, South Africa, Nigeria, USA, there is nothing negative. They will be happily, you can tell your child to go and buy the lottery, you buy it, because it's nothing negative. Because of what? Is proper education, proper information. Wherever there is no proper information is given to the people, there will be negative publicity and negative perceptions. But if you give the correct information and correct education towards the subject, then they will know that no, this is not bad. As far as it is handled in a right manner. If you just leave it loose, then it will be bad. But if it is handled the way it should be, that's what the message we have given to everybody. And I am positive that this time, once it starts with the correct operator, people will appreciate that yes, it is done correctly and it is not mismanaged, even the fund is not mismanaged.
And you were given a very strict deadline of 3 months.
Yes.
And, you know, a lot of people were asking, is 3 months really enough for a committee of 25 people to go around the country, to go on an overseas, you know, benchmarking mission? But somehow you managed to deliver even, you know, the reports before time. How did you manage to do this?
See, I'm a businessman, and we have a lot of projects, lot of work, and we set the deadline before we start. So I was given the deadline by the president that this is the gazette, and this is the timeline we are giving you and your team, and my team supported me fully. I'm very proud to work with my team, my vice chairman, all the committee, technical committee chairman, all the chairmen and their members. We were almost 20 people and 25, and all of them have worked even the weekends, even at late nights, to complete the task on time. And of course we did most of the county. We went and did the public participations. By law you have to do that, which we did, and we also educated them that what is the lottery is. We went to the Singapore, we went to Italy, we went to UK, we went to
South Africa.
So these all places we went, and everywhere we spent more than 2-3 days, maximum 2 days, because we wanted to set the timeline. And before timeline we completed everything, including the law and the ring fencing and how to do even the vetting and everything complete. And the bill is submitted to His Excellency on and before time.
And the President hailed your task force, you know, number one, for being disciplined and delivering the report well on time. But not just that, but well within the budget, actually. You know, you had been given 180 million shillings that you were supposed to work with, but you ended up, you know, spending about 120? 140?
I know you have the amount, but we did spend much lesser than what budget was, because we finished our work on time.
Which is very unique for your task force.
No, my task force, nobody wanted to, we were not there to making money. We were there to deliver the things to the government and to work for the government. We never asked for the extension of our timeline, and we never asked for the extension of our budget. Which was our, I think that's why President chosen me to put there on the place that we at least get the result on time.
So when you handed over the report to the President, what did he say?
He's a very proud man and proud President, and he did commended me and my team, and he was surprised that very rarely we see that any task force is being delivered before time or on time.
And one of your mandate was, or the mandate of the task force was to recommend measures that seek to enhance, promote a responsible gambling environment.
Yes.
What is your task force recommending to be done for this to be achieved?
See, we have set up, there is a whole 2 chapter of the law we have made for responsible gambling. It's not a gambling, it is a responsible gambling. Responsible gambling means what? That if somebody is drunk, for example, we will not allow him to, as per law, he is not allowed to bet. The way he is not allowed to drive. If somebody is underage, he is not supposed to enter even in the betting place. If somebody is betting every day, and we see it is the duty of the county to make sure they know the background of the people who is regular betting, and after some time we have to do the research that who is betting every day, whether he is doing only that business or anything else. It's not a business, it is actually for the people of the country, and we want to make sure that the gambling is responsible, betting is responsible bet. We will emphasize on that, and we will make sure that the government will monitor that this thing happens, and this duty will be fall under the operator. So it will be again private partnership. So then it will be more successful because it is his a question of his license.
You see, when you look at the current environment, it is, when you look at the act, that governs the betting and gaming in this country, it was crafted back in 1966. It has never been reviewed, and despite a lot of technological advancement. So what is your committee or task force recommending in terms of adoption of technology in lotteries and gaming and betting?
See, these laws were made for betting about 50 years ago, 45 or something years ago. Until today, the whole world is changed. People have changed, technology have changed. Positively, the things will be more, it's a very simplified way we have put that it should be, everything is digital. Second thing is it will be more open to the people, open to the public. It is not that you have done jackpot in the room and then you say this is the jackpot. It will be online on the medias. So there is nothing to hide. And you can track anybody or anything online, that when I won, what I won, whether I won, and how the process was followed. So mainly we have recommended is to go for the task force. I have recommended that it is supposed to be everything digitalized.
And you see, I was going through the report by the Betting Control and Licensing Board for the financial year 2022-2023, and this is what they were saying. There are about 13 public lotteries in Kenya, 56 public gaming concerns, and about 105 bookmakers that are registered in Kenya. This is in an economy with less than 60 million people. Would you say this number is too high?
Number is not high, but the different people, none of them is run by the government. None of them is, you can say, is a national. It's for myself, it's for themselves, making business. Government is earning, actually speaking, nothing from the lottery at the moment, very little. Once we put this government, it is national lottery. That means you have the confidence that I'm buying a government of Kenya's lottery. Our businesses will be totally a different platform in national lottery, and it will be run by one of the largest and the more well-known operator in the world. So these all are plus points. So we don't mind about the few operators are continuing, because it will be difficult for them to face the competition. And I know the law, defines the project that are supposed to be undertaken using the fund. Can you explain to us some of the project that the lottery will address? See, the lottery is the project is first is it's for the vulnerable people. What is vulnerable? The person cannot go to school because of he cannot afford to buy a school uniform. If there is any fire, if there is any earthquake, these are the natural disasters which is covered into that. And any other pandemics like COVID, we were stagnant. We didn't know where to look for the money, where to look for the oxygen, where to look. So this kind of pandemic is going to come in future also. It's not that we are secure because of one pandemic. Where we are not prepared, we have to have the funding. So this money will be used for this kind of need for the country and need for the people. It will not go. One thing is, we have made sure, and His Excellency made sure, that the ring fence this fund and make sure that this fund is used for the poor Kenyan, for the needy Kenyan, and for the natural calamities, and not for anything else. And we were very strict on it, and we have ring fence accordingly. And we will see the result once it is in place.
How soon should we have this national lottery up and running?
It should be very soon. We have already given the bill is submitted to His Excellency. Now it will go to first it will go to the ministry, the cabinet, and then it will go to parliament. And once it is passed the parliament, it will become the law, and then we'll do the vetting. Once we do the government will do the vetting of the right operator. Once they've done the vetting, I think it will be next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
And in terms of the resources raised, how much do you think, if we were to put in place, the proper structures and the proper systems, to run the national lottery, how much money do you think we'll be able to raise, annually?
Oh, the government will raise.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, the country, these all 13 betting companies together is about, we have the figures about 40 to 42 billion Kenyan shillings.
Mm-hmm.
Kenyans are betting. Once the national lottery is established with the way we want, you will be surprised it will be more than 300-400 billion Kenyan shillings in a year.
In 1 year?
In a year.
300 or 400 billion shillings.
Billion shillings, yeah. May not be first year, but in a year that we are projecting that it will hit that if it is run by what we are looking for, the professional,
mm-hmm.
and done very transparently, will cross for 400 billion.
400 billion shillings.
Yeah. And it will be for the good for the country and for the people of country. I'll be very honest to you,
mm-hmm.
that money nobody will touch.
You see, Kenya, has the third biggest gambling market in Africa, behind South Africa and Nigeria. And that tells you that, the citizenry is willing to do betting, is, they are ready to engage in this betting. But how do we encourage more Kenyans, once the lottery is up and running, to undertake in this assignment?
How do you encourage them to do betting?
Yeah.
You don't have to. For example, you don't have to go and invite the people in the bar to come and drink. We go. People go there because it is automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Once you see the benefit, and in a good way, I'm being very honest to you, in a good way. If you see that my money is not going to waste, if I don't win, it will go to the good cause. You will always be happy to buy a lottery from the supermarket or from petrol station, give the change, give me the lottery, and it will be direct and indirect sell for the lottery and for the government. And government will earn 50% of that.
Mm-hmm.
50% will go for the expense and winning monies and operators. Almost 40-50% will be saved by the government.
Mm-hmm. And so if you're talking about 400 billion shillings, so it
even
means...
if it is 200 billion saving for the government, I think I've done my job. If it happens one day,
mm-hmm.
that they say this is they were sold this much, I will be more than happy person in the country.
Mm-hmm. Before I let you go, Mr. Chairman, where do you see the national lottery once it is established in the next 5 years?
5 years' time, national lottery will be talk of the town in the country. And I'm very confident. It will be talk of the town and people will be proud of it. It will change the perception because the people will come to know the real cause and the end result of this. That's why His Excellency set and gave the go-ahead that you go and set the laws.
Very good. Anything else?
Everything is okay, and I'm very happy that now we are in the new year, budget is been passed, so things are okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You're very happy, despite all the noise that came around.
In the noise has to continue.
What is one thing that you like about the Finance Act?
Let me be very honest to you. Rome was not built in a day. Similar way, we all are very selfish because we don't want to pay tax. No doubt that the poor will be hit, but it is not poor will not pay. They are not working. Who will pay the tax is who is working and earning something. It's not that everybody is going to pay. And if you are earning and if you have to pay, you work in London, 55% tax has been cut from your salary. If your salary is £1,000, £550 goes to government. That's why they make good roads. That's why they make. Of course, we have to see a lot of corruptions, a lot of things. It is obviously, but it cannot be done overnight. It is going to help a lot of individuals in the way of somebody wants to make the building, or somebody wants to make an industry. It is a very many laws has come where the industry is going to thrive, industry is going to do very well, and importation is going to be reduced. No government have done in the past. We again, I'm shame. I always telling that we import matchbox and toothpick in Kenya. It's a shame on us. Let my Kamau do it. Let Jaroge do that. Why we are importing? But nobody wants to look at that. That is the job creation.
Very good. Thank you very much indeed, Chairman, for joining us on Inside the Government, and of course shedding more light about your endeavors as a task force.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, we have been talking to Mr. Narendra Guru, who's the chairperson of the Presidential Task Force on the establishment of a national lottery, giving us some insight about the work that the committee is doing and what we should look forward for once the national lottery is established. My name is O'Brien Kimani. You have been watching Inside Government. Thank you for your time. Have yourself a good afternoon.